Sonny, I know you're going to be shocked by this question, but assessment of the quarterbacks, I guess, now that we're past the midway point of spring.
Yeah, number one, I think overall pleased with the group. I mean, just when you look at the entirety of it, um, I like what I see from the group. I think that there's um, guys that can do different things. There's plenty of talent in the room. Like the leadership, and I think guys are starting to get more and more comfortable with what we're doing. And as they do, I think they execute at a higher level just overall. As in terms of individually, I think that there's been some guys that have had some really good days, and some that it's kind of been a little inconsistent at times. But again, you would expect that with young guys. I think Max, you can tell Max gets more comfortable back there and things he's doing. I'm starting to see him, check the ball down, get rid of the ball more, and I think that's something that, when you look at his game film, just he needed to improve on was his ability to, get off his primary read or even primary side of the field and get the ball checked down to somebody and not try to force as many things maybe as he has in the past. And so I think that's, a step in the right direction. Chandler, does some good things. I mean, again, I think, his good days are really, really good, and we just got to get him, performing at that kind of level all the time. So, and Sam continues to impress at times, and has stuff he needs to work on as well. So, again, pleased overall with the group. Really impressed with Josh Hoover for being a true freshman. Just the game's not too big for him, and so he's got the tools to become a good one. So overall, pleased. We'll have a chance to kind of sit down and look at it today with a little bit more detail. It's always good when you can put the ball down like we did today and start working situational football, because I think at the end of the day, the quarterback that takes care of the ball the best, really, and handles situational football the best is, will end up being the starter. So, we'll get a good eval on that and kind of see where we go from there.
You talked about how your team, the offense, impressed at times, and the defense called up, kind of back and forth
Yeah.
today, and it has been all spring. In your mind, at this point in spring, where should it be?
Well, that's what you want. You don't want one side of the ball just to come out and dominate the other side. And it's hard sometimes when when you're moving the ball and you're just playing one play at a time. It's hard to see what's really happening. It's like I told the guys today, though. I mean, when you start playing situational football, that's when you start to be able to learn. And we learned some really important things today. And I talked to them at the end of practice. It's just about being disciplined. You look at the defense started out like gangbusters, three consecutive 3-and-outs to start the scrimmage, and then we get a guy jumps off sides and gives up a long touchdown, and so you can't afford to do that, and that's the great thing that we'll have an opportunity to do is learn that in practice, learn from those mistakes, and then hopefully won't make them in games. And I told them if they want to be great, we can't jump off sides, we can't crack back block. We had a drive that should have ended, because of a crackback block. And so, there's just things that you got to do to allow yourself to win football games. And, it's those kind of things that really you don't get a chance to see them and correct them unless you get in these game type situations. And that's why it's so important for us on the back half of spring to put the ball down and let our guys play as much as we can, because I think, that's when they have opportunities to learn and improve.
Bud Clark and Perkins McAllister look like they're both going back and forth and pushing each other. What have you seen from those two guys so far in spring?
Yeah, I mean, they're both very athletic guys. You know, consistency is what you want to see, but they're young guys. I mean, you know what I mean. I mean, I think that's the thing is, especially Perkins. I mean, he's a young guy, and he's prone to make some mistakes when you're young, but his flashes are really good, and so both the guys are talented. Both of them show up. Both of them flash. They both can make plays. So it's a good group. I mean, that's what you want to see are those guys, being able to make those splashy plays, but also being able to make the routine stuff and be consistent.
Are you deep enough at running back?
Oh, I think it's impossible to be deep enough at running back. I think, that's why we're trying to add one or two more in the transfer portal, just because the way college football is these days. Your fourth team tailback is just as likely as your first team tailback to lead the team in rushing. It's just the way it works. And so you gotta be deep back there. Guys get dinged up, you know, and you just got to have fresh legs. You know, when you can have guys that, you know, are strong and still have fresh legs in the middle of the third quarter going into the fourth quarter, especially in those games in September, that stuff pays off for you. And so we need to have, you know, 4 guys we feel good about, maybe even 5, just because we're going to need all of them.
I saw Foster underwent surgery or whatnot. Do you expect him back by fall camp? Or
Yeah. His deal is high ankle sprain surgery, so it's pretty cut and dry surgery, but he'll be out for a while. But we expect him to be back healthy quickly.
Feels like Marcel Brooks made a lot of plays today. What have you thought of his spring? Do you feel like he maybe could be a guy who's running with the ones by the fall?
Oh yeah. Marcel's somebody who, you know, kind of like the guys we talked about earlier, has a lot of athletic ability. He's just learning how to play the position, you know, and do it consistently. And you know, you've got to your good plays are really good, but your bad plays need to be not very bad. And so we're still learning how to do that. But he flashes. He's athletic. You know, he's really having fun playing football, and I think it's contagious. He loves to play, and you can see just by the way he practices, you know, what kind of energy he can bring to that position. And he's obviously very athletic, and you know, like I said, flashes. We just gotta get that level of consistent play.
You talked about wide receivers a little bit this spring. Blair looks like he's coming on,
Yep.
catching the ball a little bit more, and then Tay obviously had a great day.
Yeah. You know, I agree with your assessment of Blair. I mean, I think, you know, probably started spring a little slow and has really made some strides here recently. And, you know, kind of the same thing when he gets in game situations, he's going to have an opportunity to shine just because he is that consistent guy. He's in the right place at the right time most of the time and, you know, has an opportunity to make plays. And he's a guy that the quarterbacks really trust. You know, those guys know he's going to be where he's supposed to be when he's supposed to be there. And, you know, when you sit down and you say what makes a great receiver, that's it. You know, he's in the right place at the right time, and there's a million different ways to get there, but Blair seems to do that consistently, and you know, made plays today, which was good to see. You know, Tay had a good day. All those guys did. I mean, you know, that's a really good group of kind of slot guys. When you look at Tay, you look at Darius, you look at Gunner. You know, those are 3 guys that I think are really good football players, and so, you know, it's going to be fun to try to figure out ways to get the ball in their hands and let those guys make you know, have opportunities to do something with the football. But Gunner did a great job on that screen today. You know, we threw a quick screen to him, and you know, he just plays so fast and does things the way you're supposed to. And you know, when you do that, it gives you a chance.
Sonny, is he an example of some of those guys that have really benefited from Coach Riley's ideas?
Yeah. I mean, he's you know, it's like we said earlier. You know, on your football team, you have all these you got a different cast of characters, and they all have different strengths and different weaknesses, and you want to see a group of guys that you can just count on, you know, that you just know how they're going to do it and what they're going to be every single day. And that's so critical to have those kind of meat and potatoes guys that are the center of your team. And then, you know, you can mix in the splashy guys around them, and the goal is to always get the splashy guys to execute at a high level too. And so when you do that, that's when you got something special. And so, you know, that's kind of been that group. You know, we can rely on those guys, and, you know, they've been able to make plays for us, and it's been a good group for sure.
What's Coach Riley's scheme done for some of these guys?
Well, I think the biggest thing is just, you know, consistency. You know, I think that's, you know, we try to be pretty simplistic in what we do, you know, and try to get really good at the details. And, you know, the technique is just as important or more important as the scheme is. And so that's what we do. It's kind of more is less type of idea where, you know, we don't have a whole lot of plays, but we get really good at executing them, and we want to be able to execute them against different looks where we're not just calling a play and hoping we get a certain look. And, you know, we need, you know, the quarterback needs someplace to be able to go with the ball when he sees something that he didn't expect to see. And so we just got to, you know, I think our guys are starting to learn that and you know, that level of execution that it takes to be able to go out and perform consistently and move the ball consistently. And, you know, we're making steps in the right direction for sure.
That goes back to Max almost playing a different offense every week last year.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, I think that you just want those guys to have a comfort in what they're doing, and, you know, and know how to do it, and know all the little nuances. And, you know, and the great thing is when you really have a good football team is when you call, you know, when you make the first down calls and they turn into touchdowns. You know what I mean? When you throw a quick screen like we did today to Gunner and you block it the right way and the receiver goes straight upfield like he's supposed to, and does the things like you're supposed to, and all of a sudden that turns into a 30 or 40-yard touchdown. That's when you have something great. You don't want to have to throw posts or fades all the time to get big plays. You want the little mundane, details to allow you to get big plays, like I said, when you're making first down calls.
Sonny, Andrew Coker was in here earlier this week. Is he a guy you want to see more at left tackle, or do you feel like right tackle is kind of where his home is?
Well, I mean, the thing about the offensive line is there's going to be a time at some point this year where all 5 starters are probably playing another position than they're accustomed to playing. And that's just the way that stuff goes. And so what we try to do is, cross-train guys as much as possible. What we try to do is basically rank the guys. And if you can, you can come up with 8 guys that you feel really good about that you think can help you win football games, then, the idea is have 3 tackles and 2 centers and 3 guards that you feel really good about, and that's your 8. And then, any more than that's kind of like a bonus. And so, if that's your approach to try to get the best 5 on the field all the time, then that's going to require you sometimes to bounce guys around a little bit. The good thing is I think we have some players that seem like they can handle that. And so, you know how it is. I mean, with today's college football, you never know who's going to be on the roster. I mean, you know what I mean? Well, there'll be 2 or 3 guys that play with us this fall that I have no idea who they are right now. You know what I mean? That's just the way this stuff goes. And so, because of that, and one of those guys may be our best 5 guys. And so you want to have some flexibility with your offensive line so guys can adjust and move around. And again, with the goal being find the best 5, find the best 6, find the best 7, and if you're really lucky, find the best 8.
I'm curious about Spivey. It feels like he's just kind of such a big presence, but tight ends really haven't been part of offense here for a while. Just how invested do you think he'll be offensively this fall?
Yeah, look, I think he's excited to be able to catch balls, and there's going to be great competition with those guys, really. I mean, as we said earlier, our job's to find, with every single player, our job's to find something that they can do. You know what I mean? Some way for those guys to be able to make our program better. And so, the good thing at that tight end position, there's 4 or 5 guys, and they all kind of have a different skill set. They all bring something to the table, and our job's to figure out how to utilize them and change our offense to make them to be able to enhance their skills and utilize their skills. And so, the good thing about Spivey, I think he's learning to be physical enough to be able to put his hand in the ground. He can also flex out. He's got the size stuff that you like. He's got the speed that you like. He's starting to develop that consistency that you like. But again, the big thing for him is just doing it every day. Being somebody that we can count on, and that's probably the most important position on the field when it comes to having a guy that the quarterback can believe in and just know, look, this guy's going to be in this spot. And I don't think we're there yet. We're still working toward that end, but when they do that, that's when that quarterback develops that relationship with a tight end, where he looks for him, when he needs someplace to go with the ball. And so we're still figuring that out and getting there, but I know he's excited about his future with the program and his ability to get his hands on the football and make plays for us.
We'll go 2 more questions.
Real quick on the quarterbacks, are you expected the last 5-6 practices? Will you kind of just roll how you guys have been, or could Jackson get up? To
We'll look at the stuff, continue to evaluate it and see. That's one thing we'll do on Monday. We'll meet on Monday and talk through, kind of position by position where we are, and and start kind of divvying reps up accordingly and kind of see where that goes.
When you open practices, is this what you imagined?
Yeah.
Have you been pleased with
I've been pleased with. Yeah, I mean, look, it's TCU's football team. You know what I mean, and the TCU family and the TCU alumni and boosters and supporters of the program. It's their team, and they need to have an opportunity to see it and be a part of it and feel it up close. And our players, same thing, need to be around those guys and have a chance to impress them. And so I think that part's been good. I think it's been really good for recruiting. We've had a lot of high school coaches that have been here and have had a chance to attend. And obviously probably had 100 high school kids here today plus. And it's great for them to come out and see it and see what, a big-time college football program looks like. And certainly, it doesn't hurt for those guys to be able to come and see practice. And, and our players are having fun and competing, and it's a good atmosphere. And I think people notice that and recognize it.
Players seem to feed off of it.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. Thanks, Coach. Okay, thank y'all.